Hi everybody, I am Anjindra. You might also know me as Aliera of Wayrest. If you're new to the series, we're doing Elder Scrolls. It was the first game I ever beta tested for Bethesda Softworks way back in the day under my dad Akatosh. I was actually too young to even be credited. They did put me in the game, so that's pretty awesome. Oh lord, where was I? I am wandering around Dragon's Grove, trying to... Why would you do this to me? I've found that the back and forth is the most efficient method of getting killed. What did I click on? Was it Raggle Taggle Gypsy Zo? Or was it the next one? Oh, it was the next one! Die in a fire!
With you.
Okay. I'm running around Dragon's Rest trying to find a Minotaur. It's one of those random quests. So... they swear up, down, left, right, and sideways that I will know when I am in the Minotaur's lair, that it is labeled. So I've explored all around here. I found a couple cool things. Ironically, in order to find Tiber Septums, or not Tiber Septums, in order to find the pieces of the staff that I need to put back together, I actually need to be heading east. In order to find the Minotaur, I actually need to be heading west, according to my directions. So, I am at an impasse. I think that we are going to go west for a little while longer, then double back and see if maybe it's not something that I missed along the way. So, that's how we'll handle this. I'm gonna warn you up front, I am in a mood. Like, I don't know if you've ever had a massive craving for something. I want cookies, like you wouldn't believe it. I not only don't have the cookies, I don't have any motivation whatsoever to go to the store for the cookies. And if you know how close the nearest store was, you know the exact sort of thing that you're dealing with here. The massive gamer frustration and rage that can only come from apathy, which is linked directly to sitting in front of a computer all day in order to get home and sit in front of a computer all day. And we don't regret this, friend. We feel no pain that we go home and also sit in front of a computer all day or a console. I gotta get a sweet setup. My HD TV isn't huge, so I'm not missing much by... I have a dash cam, actually. I need to find an adapter for it that I can just octopus onto something and also record while I'm gaming. But right now I just have the retro consoles, the what are they called, emulators. So you would just be watching a massive amount of Sega games. I bought the Nintendo one and it didn't work. I was heartbroken. I am so glad that they did finally start selling the emulators. It was incredibly frustrating because you can actually borrow a game from an online library and play it. And that's no problem, especially if you don't download it, but they have to be listed as a library. So, you know, because of some of their names, it came to my attention that, you know, for instance, Classic Reload, it might not be licensed as a library, and I was completely unaware of that. I just assumed that they would follow copyright law, because it's really easy to. And once a game isn't for sale, or even if it is for sale, if you're licensed as a library, you can rent it. So no problem, you don't even leave there, you're on their domain and you play the game. Well, that is apparently not what was going on for some of these companies. I don't know specifically if Classic Reload was one of them. It is still out there and kicking, so I'm assuming it wasn't, but there went that. And then they finally started selling the emulators, so now we're able to play, which is awesome because obviously these games are still a lot of fun to play. So I am open worlding it. I am really, really jonesing for an armory so I can offload some of my stuff. There's nothing quite like being encumbered and knowing that you're gonna make some cash money off of these dungeons, but then you can't find anywhere to sell it. So that's a rocking good time. I'm trying to stick to roads a little bit more. I'm hoping that that'll like pay off in the form of either an armory or the dungeon in which my particular enemy is layered up. I've found many a dungeon. None of them have a Minotaur in it. Oh wait, no, I want to be going south. If I go anywhere, I want to go south because the place I'm looking for is in middle southern Hammerthal. And Those are all houses, right? I'm at the point where I can bash open doors, but I can't pick locks, so. I am aware of the fact that I need to buff. I'm actually buying ESO ahead of Elsewhere, specifically because I know that I need to buff first. There's no use getting Khajiit and dragons everywhere when I can't go anywhere near them because they're just going to eat me. There's only so many times you can see a gamer fail before you start to wonder, you know, like when the real gameplay is going to start here. What are you? You look interesting. Could you be a labyrinth? Can you get excited with me? Because I'm excited. So let's save the game. We'll start all the way at the top. We'll even rename it. We're going crazy today. We're wild. How about roundabout 4? Stone Keep. I think that's what it's called. I have all of the, like, I went out on a limb here. Like, got notes. I went out and I bought lore so that I can watch the lore build. Super excited. This is actually really cool. It does have one drawback, and I thought that they had gotten past that. They were so cool about my own personal story. It has incredible illustrations. It's great for the lore, and I'm actually learning a lot. And then being able to see it in arena as it builds, which is awesome. The main character is a chick who's trying to pick which guy to sleep with. And I'm just like, I want to phone these people and be like, you learned just so well when we protested, you know? And we didn't even protest. My dad was just like, my kid's too young for, you know, to be written as, I don't want to say a sex object, but, you know, like anything adult. And they were so nice about it. And then I pull the first bloody thing after hearing, I mean, I know that in the forums, that's all they're going to talk about. That's just the way it is. Like, you go on the internet and you're like, bring your waiters. Don't even bother trying to do the social mass because you're going to be up to your butt in crocodiles. So I knew that, you know, like, if they were asking around about, what was it, the saucy Argonian and so on, you know, that's a whatever. But then I bought their lore book and I was just like, do you really have to frame this around a chick who's, like, totally smitten with 2 wizards? Like, is that really something that you want to do? But apparently it is. I'm hoping it's not their MO. I'm going to continue to traverse, you know, and see what I can find. But, if it is, then that is what it is. This is kind of cool, like a rando crypt. I feel like maybe I'm not supposed to be in here. How was I supposed to know? They refuse to label their monsters for us. They should have signs like Shark does. Oh, loot. Hello, loot. They actually have one of these down in Savannah, and it's really cool. And you can walk into the front sections of it. They did wall up the rest of it because that's where they stored their bodies during the plague. So, rest in peace. That's where they stored the bodies during the plague. So it's sad, but they do have a catacombs that you can kind of wander around and explore. So that is pretty awesome if you do ever get down there. Couple different things. They do not have an open container law in the city if you're ever in Savannah, Georgia. So enjoy the verbotenness of that. What else? Look both ways on a one-way street, just as a safety tip. Important safety tip. There's tourists everywhere. And then while you'll probably wind up down on River Street and Bay Street where the tourism is, there's really just an incredible amount of historical... Okay, I want the steel broadsword. There's really just an incredible amount of historical monuments and things like that you can tour, so definitely take the time out to do that. It's very much worth it. Yes, we're going to drop these. I've got leather boots equipped. We'll drop more leather boots. Leather boots can't go for that much, right? I mean, I'm not going to get anything from an armory from them. From an armory for them. But yeah, so they have the coolest things, and that's one of them. What is a pauldron? Oh, I already have a plate one on, so I guess it doesn't matter. Armor usually goes well. Gauntlets, probably not so much. They actually went well in Ultima, and I really liked that about them, because the amount of skill it takes to tailor leather gauntlets is actually quite high. So I thought it was cool that they threw a nod to that. One of the nice things about the Elder Scrolls series was the fact that they let you dress your character and actually showed you that in a mannequin style. So that was cool. That was very, very cool. Did I somehow... Oh, that's my stuff that I'm looking at. I was like, did I somehow manage to trip a bug? I always still want to report these, that I found one. It was very exciting. It was better than, you know, all the little games that your parents used to do to get you to clean up after yourself when you were little, when I would find any sort of anything. Steel broadsword. Let's equip it. Oh, I can kick butt now. And then I felt like I had a better cuirass, did I? Leather cuirass, plate pauldron. I thought that I had and I didn't. How about that? Alright, so let's go ahead and save because we have some decent gear now. And there's a lot of building in this. It's very much immersive and it doesn't... Like, it's meant way back in the day, and you don't see it as much anymore unless you're in a gaming group. And I've mentioned gaming culture a lot, and that's a niche portion of it is Dungeons and Dragons, but it is there. If you are in a gaming group, then you will very much be in for the long haul. Like, you do play the whole module, so that is not particularly shocking. That's just done. So this sort of thing definitely evolved from that whole expectation that, you know, you do clock 300 hours with the same people and you do build this story and it's in this open world and, you know, people can build on that and so on and so forth. So where was I? Oh, I just geared up. I think I walked back out. My sense of direction is parallel to none. Like, you cannot help but be impressed by the sheer level on which I get lost. I've heard it many times, trust me. I don't even feel bad. I feel it's talent. It's like that, as we're talking about gaming groups, you know, one of the nice things about building that sort of relationship is they would have inside jokes in the gaming groups. I remember reading about one in a magazine. For some reason, this guy just had the worst luck, and every time he would shoot his bow, because he was level 1, he was building his way up, so they're very understanding about it, but every time he would shoot his bow, he would shoot a party member, and it was just, you know, every once in a while, the DM admitted in the article that he would tilt it in favor of that, you know, just to keep it going as a thing. So, which was hilarious. And he wound up, you know, like, killing one of the party members before, and it became a running joke and so on. So there's a hit, like, I feel like most people use holidays, they use, like, standard venues. Wow, I'm having a heck of a time with this guy. I'm trying to think if I have any, like, spells or anything that I can bust out that maybe I'm missing out on. I might just have to speedrun him, like, just to see. Every once in a while when you can't get past something, and again, this is like, if you are old school gamer, and this is one of the reasons why we don't necessarily run around and open people, or run up to people with open arms, is because when you're old school gamer, you're kind of like supposed to know stuff, like, run past the monster, you know? Like, do that, you know? With you, Doc. And some of the new kids won't know that, and they'll get mouthy about how popular they are or whatever because they're playing a nerd game, and that it never plays out well. Like, definitely don't do that. It just never plays out well for you. So I think we talked a lot about bullying, although it wasn't, you know, as bullying, but we did talk a lot about bullying. And when you kind of carve out your little piece of nowhere, you don't feel responsible for other people in it, especially when it's not your bag. Like, we're not all FPSers. We're not all just like something, you know. We fall into our different groups, and they're not expected to protect each other. Like, just because somebody else is a gamer, that doesn't mean that I'm going to be a gamer, or I'm going to automatically back them up. I might be more likely to talk to them or get along with them, or, you know, and obviously we have things in common and so on. So there's nothing there, and I know to just walk out of this dungeon. Do not be afraid to walk away from a fight. It's, you know, something a little bit different that I think not everyone thinks of. That is a cool takeaway. you do it a lot, you know, when you're at the start and you're just like not, you're level 1 and there's like nothing you can do. You just kind of learn that. You just learn to walk away from the fight and it doesn't even bother you, you know? So, bullying, or that sort of, you know, attack is its own protection, and you see it a lot in society. Because bullying somebody will actually make you feel better about the bullying process because you're participating in a cultural or social event, which is super nerdy. And I have this really weird take on life because of the fact that I know things like that. You know, that this person is actually protecting themselves emotionally, and, you know, like, you can go all Nietzsche and be like, if you cannot overcome the beast, you become the beast, but that's not at all what I think Nietzsche was saying. He was rich as heck and educated as heck, and I sincerely doubt he was, like, interested in whether or not the proletariat, like, got along and stuff. But, oh shoot, I just went north, I didn't mean to do that. So, you know, as people, if you're new to other aspects of gaming, you really only stayed in TES, which is very easy to do. It's an incredibly immersive world. Oh, I think I wandered around the cornfield the other day, so I'm gonna skip that. I'll just go around. I didn't find anything. I certainly didn't find a minotaur in there. That would have been like way too many puns. It's like a drop back 10 and pun. So if you are new to gaming culture, this is the only part of it that you've ever, you know, really explored. We're seeing an explosion on YouTube, and so it's for some of us it's all over again, and for some of us we appreciate the enclosed environment where it's not like, I don't want to bash Reddit too hard because I do Reddit quite a bit, but it's not like Reddit where the moderation is just out of control. You know, like, they don't even look at their own rules. They, you know, just, they're all volunteer, and it couldn't be more obvious and that sort of thing. Each person takes ownership of their own YouTube channel, and people don't want to know. Like, they're not gonna hear your excuses. So, that's a little bit better. That's kind of awesome. Rather than making a forum and being able to walk away from it, or, you know, just like farming out the managing of it, you can instead, have your own little scrap of nowhere. And so we're seeing that it's very easy now to find gameplay. Prior to that, you would have forums and you'd have walkthroughs, but now it's like, oh, this looks really cool, and then you stick around for a while. After the first time or two, you just buy in. And, you know, really check to see if is it that awesome? And, you know, because every once in a while you buy a game and just really, it looked awesome for like 10 minutes, and then for some reason, something about the interface or the gameplay just doesn't work for you. And, you know, TES fans especially expect to put quite a few hours into games, so I'm sure that'll be a big deal. But, using the comment section in YouTube, interacting with other people, using it as a community place, crossover with Twitter and with Facebook, a little bit less with Facebook, but Twitter, and for some reason these people love Instagram. Totally lost on that one. Instagram only works from your phone, and I don't get it. Like, why would you not let me upload pictures from my computer? So they kind of lost me on that one. I phoned it in on Instagram, but for some reason that's huge. Can I sell to an innkeep? I want to say no, but it's so traditional that I'm going to try it. Fiery autumn sun disappears as you enter the Howling Dagger. The sounds of laughter, clinking glasses, and banging cooking pans meet your ears. Howling Dagger. That's gotta have a story behind it. I mean, for real. Buy drinks, sneak into a room, rumors. Anything good? What's good, bro? Mark my words, Redguard. The Elder Gods are coming back, and Black Marsh will burn for its sins. There's a whole lot of lore in this game, and oh wow, I just have an insane amount of gold. Yeah, that's fine. I'm not even gonna haggle. Just need some sleep in a safe place. But oh, this is cute. Looks like they'll let anyone into Howling Dagger these days. None of these people want to talk, which is a little bit of a shock. That is a break from the traditional Even Bard's Tale. You don't find any better ale in Dragon Grove than here in Holly Dagger. I'm so stuck on that name. I want to give it backstory like you wouldn't believe. It's interesting what they did with the place because it doesn't have that third-person omniscient that was so popular. We'll sleep for 8 hours. We'll get a solid night's sleep. Or day, midday. I've worked so many different jobs that it's whatever. It's the problem with being into things like creative writing and communications and all of that is like, literally nothing I do is normalized. People mistake it for nothing is normal. That is not true. It's that nothing is normalized. So it's whatever hour or clock. Doesn't even bother me. Tell it to me in military time. I don't care. What is this? Hello, friend. Oh, it would be locked too. Or not. Hey, you know, I'm down. Can you sell me? Is this a dungeon? Do they have a rando dungeon in the middle of their town? Are they allowed to do that? It doesn't say the Minotaur's name on it, and they swore that they would. They promised. But yeah, in all seriousness, like, it said that they would have the Minotaur's name on it, so I'm guessing this is not Minotaur Keep. This is Minotaur Leave. God, do I really need more loot? Do you ever ask yourself that? I really need more loot. We'll just bounce. I can... Oh, okay, well, I went the completely and totally wrong way. How about that? You have a couple of strange, you know, not drawbacks, but just strange colloquialisms that you'll find in each and every game that are a little bit different. This is cool. Somebody's hangout. That are a little bit different. They set the stage for things a lot in this, and then I don't want to say they don't follow through because it's non-implicit that they would, but just the dead body when you walked in and Chain Cuirass. Okay, I definitely need that though. They set the stage for that you wouldn't know, and that things are happening in the world. So there's an ambiance to it that they nail. The encumbrance is an interesting problem. Different games handle that differently. In Ultima, obviously, everyone had to pray for that exact reason. So it's too bad I couldn't... Well, I guess if I have like 8 million gold, it kind of doesn't matter. I think I'm going to head back east and see if I can't find the cave that'll put me onto the main quest. This poor lady probably told somebody else for 300 gold. Sorry, friend, there's just no way she didn't hire more than one adventurer. So we'll do the chain one. Alright, that's looking better. Boots, I had to have found boots. There's no way I haven't found something better than leather. You have something better than leather, don't you? Yes, you do. Alright, let's do that. So, chain boots. There we go. A little bit better armored up. So we look like we're ready to go now. I was getting my butt kicked so badly. And that's kind of the stick-with-itness. Say that with a modicum of sarcasm. But in this particular case, you start out at level 1. And if you're not familiar with AD&D through, what are we up to? AD&D 5e. It's so normal to die so much. Not so much in the modules, but if you're playing a game, they start you with very low hit points, very low armor, that sort of thing. So that is very normal. Returning east. Okay, so we're heading back east. So that is very normal to just die and die and die and die until you get it. So that's whatever. Got junk in the middle of the floor. I think I already have a tower shield. No, I have 2 tower shields. Who knew? Is this place large? It is not. What's at the end of it? A rat! My goodness. How are you biting through my chainmail? You are the most... I want to keep it. Like, if there were a charm spell, that would be my pot. that was the most... It's a word for spunky. Ferocious. It's the bravest rat ever. Taking on an armed and armored adventure like it was okay. And head northish. What? Oh, that's my junk. I like that they mark it out for you so it's easy to tell. It's very handy. Is this the one that's out? I'm trying to decide if I went up or down. I think I went down. Do you want to just run the whole thing? We'll just run the whole thing. Where's up again? It's on the opposite side. We'll do that. Just go around and go up. There's only one more. I read online that it was in... The Minotaur was in a tower. Which is not its traditional stomping ground, so I was thrown a little bit, but... Nobody asked me my... Well, that's not true at all. Wow, that's one of my main gripes, and I now, years later, wonder where it came from. Every once in a while I would just be like, nobody asked me my opinion. That's what I get. That's what I get for having opinions on things like this. Some of them went through, not well, but, you know, they were there. I got a voice, so... Alright. Oh wow, I didn't explore this at all. I thought I had gone all the way around, but I must have decided to walk a little bit sooner than I had thought. Oh, I thought that was a rat. I just got capped from behind. I hate that. I mean, I love that the monsters can do it because it adds a level of realism, but I hate it. Let's be real here, friend. Alright, so we're going through here. I am down so far on hit points. Like, what is that even? We're running. We're dungeon running. Keyword run. Okay, this is pretty safe. And you would see this even in like Diablo. Diablo was so much fun. I think it was the best of, like, there was this whole series of games that had that particular... I think it was like a skinned Crusader No Remorse. Like, it was definitely that sort of layout where I wonder if they used the same the same programming code. That stuff used to be gold. Like, it was a big deal. Oh my god! Okay. So this is a wizard's tower. I have to, like, drop back 10 and punt here because I don't think I can take the wizard with that many hit points. I just don't think I'm there yet, so we gotta figure that out. Well, I am Aliera of Wayrest. We're exploring the world of the Elder Scrolls. We are starting out with Daggerfall, with Arena, and just continuing on through. My big thing is lore. I'm like the, what's his name, Tolkien of that sort of fantasy realm where I want to keep track of, you know, like I bought the Forgotten Realms Atlas and I tracked the books on it in colored pencil, and you know, I love their little, there's a Forgotten Realms group on Facebook and I love their little lore section and everything like that. So I just love having all that come together. So that's what we're following a lot here. If you're big into lore, if you're big into the Elder Scrolls, if you're big into their open world culture, this is definitely the place for you. So drop us a subscribe, send it to your friends. If we can get to a certain amount of subscribers, I'll just start live streaming. I hate, you know, like, I don't like scheduling things, so I'm not going to do it unless I know that I will have a certain attendance, because the back and forth between, I've TA'd, and the back and forth between a couple of people is very intense. So you need to schedule a period of time before and after, and I do not have time in my schedule for that. I have no problem doing a blitz, though, so if you want to send out, you know, send it out to your friends and get the subscribes up there so that we can just, like, run a live stream and have it be chill. So thank you for watching, as always. Much love.